Good morning, boys and girls. We are on still 8.1. We're talking about dividing fractions and whole numbers, but this is kind of a continuation from yesterday's lesson. So, yesterday we had a whole number divided by a fraction or a fraction divided by a whole number, and we drew out fraction blocks or number lines, or you may have even used our online math manipulative tool in order to solve those problems. Well, today we are going to figure out how to solve them without having to use any manipulatives, but the algorithmic way by writing out the problem and solving it. So, the first thing I want to teach you is KFC, which is going to be our little acronym that's going to help us remember how we can divide fractions. So, I'm going to put this little diagram on the board. So, you can see when we are dividing fractions, we're going to think of KFC, and it might help you remember Kentucky Fried Chicken, right? I'm sure a lot of y'all have been to KFC. And this just means keep, flip, change. So when you divide fractions, it's really, really not as hard as it may seem. You just have to remember KFC. So you're going to keep the first number in your equation the same. You will flip the second fraction, and you're going to change the division sign to a multiplication sign. So, in order to do that, I am going to pull up our little whiteboard on the screen, and we are going to get some practice. So, if we keep in mind our acronym KFC, which I am just going to change that color right over here on the side for us, KFC. That means we're going to keep the first number, flip the second number, and change the division sign to a multiplication sign. So let's practice. Our 3 is our first number, and that K means that we keep the 3 the same. So I'm actually just going to rewrite that 3 right there. The F says that we flip the second number. And since 1 is on top and 4 is on the bottom, we're going to flip it and put 4 on top and 1 on the bottom. And then change says that we change that division sign to a multiplication sign. So we're actually multiplying instead of dividing. And you guys know that when you multiply a whole number by a fraction, you can put this whole number over 1, or you could know that 4 over 1 is just 4. So you can either have 3 over 1 times 4 over 1, or just 3 times 4, which is 12. If you wanted to put it over 1, you could, but then you would say 1 goes into 12 times. So your answer to your problem is just 12. So as long as you remember KFC, your problems are going to be so much easier. Let's do one more together. Alrighty, so we have 1/5 divided by 2. We're going to use KFC. So we're going to keep 1/5 the same. So go ahead and rewrite 1/5. We're going to flip our 2. So when you have a whole number, it's written as a whole number over 1, right? That's how you would write 2 as a fraction. I wrote it this way because in order to flip it, we need to put that denominator or the 1 up top and the numerator or the 2 down bottom. So instead of 2 over 1, we're going to have 1 over 2. And our last letter in our acronym is C, which is to change the division sign to a multiplication sign. And remember, when you multiply fractions, you do top times top and bottom times bottom. So we have 1 times 1 is 1, and 5 times 2 is 10. So your answer is just 1 over 10. So as long as you remember this KFC, it makes your work so much easier. I am going to pull up our assignment from yesterday, and we are going to review it using our new skill of KFC. Alrighty, so as you can see, I've pulled up your assignment that you should have done yesterday, and we're just going to review it really quick. So you have 3 divided by 1 over 6. Well, if you use KFC, you're going to keep that 3 the same. So you're going to keep it as 3. Let's see if I can pull up Word at the same time, and we'll work them out together. Alrighty. So you're going to keep your 3 the same. You're going to flip the 1 over 6. So instead of 1 over 6, it's going to be 6 over 1. And you're going to change that division sign to a multiplication sign. And in order to multiply, you can put that 3 over 1. So we know that it's really just 3 times 6, or you can keep those ones on the bottom. It's up to you. So this would be 18. Ooh, that's the funny looking 18. 18 over 1, which we know is just 18. Alrighty, let's look at that second problem. Remember, we're going to use keep, flip, change. So we keep 1 over 4. We change our 2, which we know we already did that in another problem, right? Instead of having 2 over 1, it's now going to be 1 over 2. We're going to change our division sign to a multiplication sign. We have 1 times 1 equals 1, and 4 times 2 equals 8. Now, last problem that I want us to work out is the 1 divided by 1/3. We use KFC. We keep our 1. We flip our 1 over 3, which will be 3 over 1, and we change the division sign to a multiplication sign. I'm going to go ahead and put this 1 over 1 so that I can have 2 fractions to multiply. I know that 3 times 1 is 3, and that 1 times 1 is 1, so I know that my answer is just 3. Alrighty, guys, so you have another short assignment today on Wiser, just like yesterday's, but you can use our KFC acronym to help you solve these problems. But if today's lesson was confusing for you, go back and use those fraction bars again. Use whatever method works best for you. Alrighty, guys, I hope you have a great day, and I will see you tomorrow.